Don't Let the Tech Bugs Bite. My name is Anita Wong, and in tonight's show, we're going to be looking at some of the Instagram updates in November 2019. So we are going to be looking at, number one, some of the updates that I've seen to do with the create button. We're also going to look at how hashtags work in your stories. And the biggest one is that I have switched on dark mode inside my Instagram, and it looks so cool. So if you have a phone which has dark mode operational, then I think that you should have a go at really getting it going, because it's so cool to look at. So the best thing to do is, number one, if you are watching me here on YouTube or on Facebook, I'm streaming to both using a cool tool called StreamYard. Please do let me know that you're here. Give me the thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel wherever you are. So either like my Facebook page, follow my Facebook page, or absolutely subscribe to my YouTube channel, because we are going to be going through some really cool hacks tonight and you are going to love it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you, because that's the easiest way for you to see what's going on over on, let's just check, over on Instagram. And then we're going to share my phone with you, and we're going to have a look at how we can show you how everything is working over here. Okay, so let's go into Instagram. So let's have a little look. So this is the Instagram account. This is my Instagram account. And we're going to be looking at, first of all, the create button. So the create button is inside your Instagram stories. So we go to Instagram stories and we swipe to the right. We have our create button. So at the bottom, you have create. This is taken over from the old text button. So the create button has a lot of other features in it. And I'm going to show you just some of the new ones that I've noticed this week and this month. So the capital A, lowercase a are the normal alphabet buttons. So you can type a text on that button and it's completely cool. And at the very top, you can go to the stickers. And when you go to the stickers, you get the old classic option at the top here. So you get all of the options that you can normally see. However, if you go to the next one, the templates have always been there. So these are really cool templates that you can use by clicking the dice at the top, and it gives you some different templates to use. What's new this month in November is the @ button. So this is if you've been mentioned in a story. Your create button now gives you all of these stories that you've been mentioned in. So if you look up the top, it says see all 6. If I click see all 6, it actually shows me all of the accounts that have mentioned my account in their story. So as you see, I've got 6 going on here at the moment of people who have mentioned my Instagram account inside their stories. So that's a really good way of you sharing your network stories on your own stories platform. Strategically, for a marketing purpose, if you mention an influencer, or if you mention somebody who you've been working with and they then share your story, it's going to give you double the amount of exposure, because not only are you being exposed to your own stories, but you're also being exposed to their stories and their fans. And if their fans then reshare their story, you're going to be seen by even more people. So that's a really good way of you opening up your network. So that's inside the create button, where you have the @ sign, which is the mention sign. We now have that inside the create button. If we go along, we have the going back a year. This is something that's been here for a while. We've also got the poll, which is normal. We've got questions that you can ask, but we've also got this response button. So this is if you've been asking questions throughout your stories over the last 24 hours, you can see the response to that question. So at the top here, it says see all 12. So I asked the question, what were your biggest stumbling blocks about IG stories? Now, unfortunately, Instagram has a few bots going through it and people are spamming with love hearts at the moment. So you just have to ignore those if they're coming into your questions. If they get really annoying, then I suggest you just block them and just forget about them and say goodbye. Okay, so otherwise you can have, what is the biggest stumbling block when it comes to IG stories? So it's awesome. That's the biggest stumbling block, because if it's so awesome, you're never going to be off them. Oh my God. So finding subjects to discuss is one of the stumbling blocks of one of my followers. And that can be really hard. If you're not sure how to plan your stories, then it's really hard sometimes to find the content. We also have this timer, so it gives you some ideas of how you could use the timer. It also adds some in for you. So we've got this one, school's out. We've got quitting time. So we can, it shows that you can add your timers to your story. So that's really good if you're hosting an event and you've put the timer on up there. We've also got this option where you can do a quiz. So that's normally in the create. So, okay, so that's basically the new things that are in the create button. The biggest one is the @mention option. So you can actually share all of the stories that somebody has mentioned you in. So that's really cool. So that's how you can show that. And that's really good for your marketing strategy because you can get double the amount of reach from people sharing your stories. Okay, so that's the first update that I've seen inside of stories since the create button came in. So that's really awesome. Another option is I want to talk to you about using your hashtags to increase your reach in stories. So hashtags in stories are searchable. So we look at some of the stories I've already got up inside of my account. So let's just get one that I've put in so that I can look at this hashtag. So here you can see I have 2 hashtags here at the bottom. If I was to click on social media content, you see how it says C hashtag. That means that all the posts that have been put up with the word social media content come up into the screen. So you have the top posts, and these are videos and static feed posts. And you have the most recent posts, which are also static feed posts. But if you look at the top, next to the 156K posts, here, where you have the circle with the hashtag, that means that there are stories using the hashtag. So as you can see, this story has got social media content as a hashtag. My one is there as well, which is quite cool. See that? Extra exposure at the very top of that big poll. And there I am again. And there I am again. Oh, and there I am again. So that's just to show you how cool I've got. So basically, out of all those 156,000 posts that were using the hashtag social media content, because I put it into my stories, I have come up right at the top of everybody else's posts. So all these posts here in the feed, all these recent posts that are using the hashtag social media content, that's completely cool. The top posts itself are there as well. But the story posts get their own place right at the top of the page, just there. And as you can see, my posts here with the social media content, again, you can see the hashtag are right at the top for everybody to see. So that's a really awesome example of why you should be using hashtags in your stories, and also why when you're doing a series of stories, so basically if you're going to post stories from the beginning of the day right through to the end, and you're going to do sections of stories. So influencers at the moment are posting between 6 and 7 segments of their story in any 24 hours. If you keep the same hashtags going in that story, what will happen is that your exposure using your hashtags inside your stories will be really, really awesome. And this is just an example. So we click up here, social media content is in my story from this evening when I did a training earlier on. When I click on the story at the top, the first one is somebody doing a photo shoot of food, but then the next one is my story. And because I use the same hashtag in all 4 of my posts, I've got it again and again and again. So when I'm doing my poll, I've now got a poll that's live inside the social media content hashtag story. And when I lift it up, on my actual story, I'll be able to see who's voted on that. So let's go and check that out while we're here, just to see who's voted on that story. So if I lift it up, as you can see, let's go to the one that's got the votes. One person has voted for going live. The other person has said that they prefer to do pre-recorded videos. So that just shows you how much exposure having a hashtag inside your stories will get you. So let's do my actual own hashtag, which is Stories with Anita. That's not got that many because I've only just started doing that. So that's really when you start building up your hashtags or you're using a popular one, you're going to see your stories up at the top. So that's a really good reason to start using hashtags in your search, because obviously when you're inside your Instagram account, you have your feed posts, which are the ones that make up your grid. And then you have your stories posts, which sit at the very top of the feed. for everybody to see. So if you're using hashtags in those stories, you're going to be found much quicker than your feed posts are, because stories are positioned at the very top of the hashtag search. So just show you that again. We go to one that's got the social media content hashtag. You see it says C hashtag. You click that. At the very top there, we've got social media content. And because I've watched the story already, it's not going to show me it again. But that's what will show you where you've got the new stories. Now, another thing that you can do is you can follow a hashtag, which enables you to see how that hashtag is performing. Now, when you're doing stories, usually most people go through the stories hashtag inside of the sticker area. So if I was to do a story now of me live here, let's just take that one off. And I go to normal. And I'm going to just take a picture of me on the camera like so. If I go to the very top where the sticker is, I click that, and there you have the hashtag there. But when you use this hashtag, Instagram stories only allows you to put the hashtag in once. Whereas if you use the hashtag with the alphabet option where you're writing, you can put as many hashtags in as you like. Okay, so that's the hashtag and the reasons why you should be using hashtags in your stories, because it's going to give you a much bigger reach. It's really good for your marketing strategy to be able to be put in front of people, especially at the very top of the feed inside the stories option. So I'm just going to save that, and I'm going to bring that up a bit later. Okay, so the other really cool option that I want to show you is to put your Instagram stories into dark mode. So you may have heard of the update with the Apple. You may have heard that there is this, what's known as a dark mode. So the cover of your Apple phone goes into dark or light mode. So my Instagram stories has always got a light background. As you know, that's the standard that we get. But with the features that are inside of your iPhone, Instagram have worked closely with Apple to make sure that the dark mode works really well in Instagram. So to turn the dark mode on, there are two ways that you can go. The first one is to pull the top corner down, and you see here where you've got this light. So not this one. So not this one here, what I'm moving here, not that one, but the next one, which is the light button. If you press and hold that, at the bottom, it says dark mode off. Let me just take my banner off so you can see that. So as you can see at the very bottom, it says dark mode off. If I turn dark mode on, when I come back into my Instagram stories, how cool is that? My Instagram account has gone dark. It's gone stealth. It's gone really dark mode. So that's a really awesome option for your Instagram. Now, don't forget, if you're loving this video, to subscribe to my channel. I come out every week with Don't Let the Tech Bugs Bite, with the most updated versions of what's happening in Instagram and Facebook across business pages, stories, and general social media as a whole. So if you want your Instagram to be in dark stealth mode, then this is how you do it. The first way is to pull from the top right-hand corner of your iPhone down, go to the light button, press and hold, and make sure it says dark mode on. The other way is to go inside of your actual phone settings. So you go to your settings here, and you go to your, down here it says display and brightness, and you click that. Here you have an option between light mode and dark mode. So if I go light mode, again, it makes my phone white, and we're in the sunshine mode. If you go dark mode, then we've gone dark and stealth, and we're in the undercover mode. You do have an automatic option, which means that it's dark until sunrise, and then in the daytime it becomes light, and at night it becomes dark. I prefer to actually have mine in the dark stealth mode. So that's how you can do your dark mode for Instagram. So then what happens is that on your whole phone, everything has the dark background, but Instagram looks really cool in the dark mode. So this is my profile page. I go over to my feed, and everything is in dark. It really makes the stories at the top really pop, because you've got this really nice colorful circle around the stories. So that's a really cool way of doing things. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this update on what's happening in your Instagram and general social media. So what have we discussed today? The first one is some additional options inside the Instagram stories create mode button. So if you go to your Instagram stories and you press the create button, you swipe across and they've introduced the @mentioned button, which enables you to see who's been mentioning your account inside their stories. This is really good for you to be able to share other people's stories as well. So if they've mentioned you in their story, you can then reshare their story mentioning you into your story, and you can keep the story alive, going over and over again, backwards and forwards. The second option is to remember to use hashtags in your stories. It really gives you the heads up and gets your stories to go a lot further, and your marketing strategy will be much better because you'll be seen by a lot more people by using your hashtags inside your stories. If you're going to use hashtags inside your stories, don't forget to put the same hashtag in each section of your story in any 24 hours. Okay, so that's the second update for November 2019 for Instagram. And the third update is to put your Instagram account into dark stealth mode, which means that the background of your Instagram account becomes black. And Instagram have been working with Apple and have encouraged the dark mode on the Instagram account, so it works perfectly well. So if you've loved this video, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions about using hashtags in your marketing strategy, using the new create button with the mention option inside your stories, or how to turn on the dark mode in your iPhone, then please pop them in the comments below. And I'll be back next Tuesday at 8 p.m. GMT with another episode of Don't Let the Tech Bugs Bite.